Everyone, my name is Jamaica and today I'll be presenting about social media effect on eating disorder among young adults. For this presentation, I'll be talking about the type of eating disorders and what is eating disorder. And the targeted community that will be presenting in this presentation will be young adults. And I'll be talking about why is this a problem and how does this social media links with eating disorder. So first up, what is eating disorder? So eating disorders are a type of major psychological disorder characterized by significant changes in eating habits as well as related thoughts and emotions. Individuals who are diagnosed with eating disorders are developed an unhealthy relationship with food and their body size, such as size, weight, or shape. There are a variety of eating disorders like anorexia nervosa, which is the most common, such as bulimia nervosa and binge eating. With anorexia nervosa, the person thinks that they are extremely overweight, even if they may not, true, and starve themselves. Bulimia nervosa usually consists of an individual consuming a large amount of food and then purging right after or using modes of extreme exercise. For this slides, I will be talking about some statistics I found, such as how social media use is by roughly 70% of the population in the United States. And a study shows that on average, teens spend over 7 hours per day viewing videos or using social media platforms. Because of today's technological advancement, many young adults now have easy access to social media, which has an influence how they think and see things. However, with such an easy access, it has become an outlet for an individual to create a negative body image and attitudes about themselves, leading to the risk of developing disordered eating among young adults. So the purpose of this study is to see how the acceptance of ideal looks from social media leads to a likelihood risk of developing eating disorder among young adults. Um, my research question is, how does an ideal look in social media contribute to being at risk of eating disorder among young adults at the age of 18 to 25? So why is this a problem? So the first reason I found is that engaging in activities that focus on one's physical appearance. According to the study that I found, the amount of time many young men and women spend using social media, such as Facebook, don't relate to body image, but the activity of comparing their images to others' ideal thin body shows the effect. And they also found that when young women follows less appearance-based accounts such as Fitspiration contents on Instagram or other social media app, they were less likely to have a poor body image. In other words, the type of activities engaged in social media contributed to to the risk of developing eating disorder, not the overall usage itself. The other reason is that the ideal look that may lead individuals to believe that in order to be accepted. What I mean about is that is the viewed ideal look may lead individuals to believe that in order to be accepted by a large number of people, they must also be skinny. So one reason is that I found is that many young adults keep track of how many people like their images that they posted on social media and remove the unattractive image of themselves, which are common symptoms of eating disorder that were found to be tied with the use of social media. The type of activities that young women engage in could affect them positively or negatively. As I mentioned, activities that were appearance based, such as untagging photos of themselves that they think are not pleasing enough, could be a negative effect and also a sign of the risk of developing eating disorder. Another reason that I found is that most of the studies were found on adolescent women who are in their 20s are most likely at the risk of developing eating disorder compared to young men. Although social media is one of the reasons that could be leading to an eating disorder, there are other factors also. So one of the studies discovered that when young women communicated with their friends online more regularly, they were more prone to compare themselves to them. So what does this mean is that the more they connect with their peers, are the worse their self esteem becomes, and they begin to believe that these people are more attractive than they are. So young adults with poor self-esteem are more likely to compare themselves to others, then and this may encourage them to assume that their peers are more attractive and more likely than they are, which isn't always the truth. And they're often under pressure and believe they must watch at this level, which leads to a larger expectation for themselves at the possibility of the risk of developing eating disorder. And often there could be genetics or family influence that could be leading to the risk of other development, the risk of eating this disorder. It's also social media, not always negative. The use of social media is always not negative. There were activities that affected its users possibly. Studies found that following contents that endorse the thin ideal could motivate some young women to move around, exercise, and to stay fit. They also found that through social media, young women gain emotional support from other users. So, to answer the questions I have earlier, um, most of the studies shows that social media exposure may encourage an ideologue that many young adults find difficult to achieve. uh what I mean is that although there are some gaps, limitations in the studies, such as most of studies use questionnaires and needed to be answered online. So most participants may answer the questions incorrectly, which could be from the wording of the questionnaire created, and they may believe that information is too private to share. And the majority of the research simply looked at questionnaires, which might lead to or reveal bias depending on how the questions are constructed, or how the surveys are administered completed. So another one is future research should look into other factors that may contribute to development of eating disorders. For instance, consider age, ethnic groups, peers, family, and social cultural. As a nutrition professional, creating interventions focusing on appearance focus activities on social media rather than overall social media use could be created, because the overall use of social media is not always leading cause of eating disorders. Is when they engage in appearance comparison and editing focus. So finally, an ideal look has been widely accepted and promoted in the media for many years. Social media platforms have become an integral part of young people's daily life. Most of studies have shown that young women are reportedly more linked to body dissatisfaction and body concerns. Um, the longer eating disorder is left untreated, the more probable it is that it is possible that life-threatening complications will occur, such as depression, anxiety, societal thoughts, or behavior. Although social media has been identified as a factor in the development of eating disorder in young adults, it is crucial to remember that social media may also play an significant role in health promotion and prevention measures. Thank you. And here are some of the references that I've used.